Powered by Vivo 7 Sports. Straight line technique. Inside outside using same foot. The player moves the ball across the midline using the inside and the outside of his foot. When reaching the cone, the player does a rollback turn and immediately uses the outside of the other foot to continue the exercise in the opposite direction. Notice how the foot that is not touching the ball is constantly moving from left to right. Inside-outside switching feet. In this exercise, the player continues to use the inside and the outside of his foot, but this time he switches his feet every time. The inside touch moves the ball towards the midline, and the outside touch moves the ball across the midline. Again, the player does a rollback turn and takes his next touch with the outside of the other foot to continue the exercise going the other way. Outside roll using same foot. Now, the player uses the outside and the sole of the foot to move the ball across the midline. He moves the ball outside and then rolls the ball back across the midline with the sole of his foot. Roll. Inside, outside, switching feet. The next progression is to add an inside touch after the roll. Here, the player takes an outside touch, then rolls the ball back over the midline with the sole of his foot, takes an inside touch, and then pushes the ball back with the outside of his foot again. Outside, outside, switching feet. In this exercise, the player only uses the outside of his feet. The player takes steps in between each outside touch to move his body and the ball across the midline. Inside roll, switching feet. Here, the player has two inside touches with both feet, after which he rolls the ball with the sole of the foot across the midline. It is important to start the exercise on either side of the midline. Step over outside, switching feet. In this exercise, the player continuously does step-overs and outside touches to move the ball across the midline. There are no additional steps between the outside touch and the next step over. Roll, step over outside, switching feet. In this last exercise, the player rolls the ball with the sole of his foot, steps over the ball, and then takes an outside touch using the other foot. It is important that the roll goes in a diagonal direction of 45 degrees. The outside touch after the step over should not be very strong. Powered by Vivo 7 Sports.